Hi, welcome to this talk. So it will be about 45 minutes of speech, then 10 minutes of question and answer. So if you have any question, just take notes and we'll present all the questions to the speaker at the end of the speech. And I leave the word to the expert about Pypedia. Thank you to be here.
Thank you. So yeah, we'll talk about Pypedia. The tagline, you see the free programming environment that anyone can edit. You see that it's kind of stolen from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia that anyone can edit. But first of all, I would like to talk about Python sandboxing. Of course, every one of you know Google application engine. It has a Python environment, 2.7 as well. You can upload your environment over there. You can have it run. A nice thing about Google application engine is, of course, that it's sandbox. So you can have a website where everyone can write, can upload its Python code and have it run. Since this is a Python conference, I decided to put Python code in my third slide. This is how it looks. A Python sandbox in Google application engine. It's very simple. So it takes just a request. It takes the code from the request, it executes it, and then sends back the response. It's very simple. And sites like this one, learnpython.org, has already done it. So yeah, this is happening from another presentation. So if you type here, print something or any Python code, yeah, this will run. Now, the question is, okay, what can you do with Python sandbox, online Python sandbox? I was browsing python.org and I saw this very, very cool thing. You could turn a wiki into a rapid application development environment platform. Just draw up your interface with wiki syntax, write up a little bit of Python, and instant application. So the thing is that you have a wiki environment, you upload there your Python code, your wiki converts this into an application, and this thing runs in the sandbox. And this is what Pypedia is about. So it's about MediaWiki, that each article is a Python code, a Python function, or a Python class, and everything runs in Google Application Engine. And, okay, why? So, imagine you have personal computer, browser, internet connection. You have to answer the following question. Does you know? No? Okay. So what do? You go to Google. Most probably you find something in Wikipedia. You go to the article and you find that it's this guy. Okay. Same question. Same setup. Imagine you only have a personal computer, browser, internet connection. You have to find the following question. Compute the hardware equilibrium of a set of genotypes. I'm working in bioinformatics, and it's a very, very important, very common problem. Now, this issue, it's more important, more common than the Prime Minister of Latvia, believe me. So, yeah, it matters more people. So again, what do? You go to Google, you find some links, you find a very nice web form, but the problem is that you can execute it, you don't have the source code, you don't have the documentation. You might have the source code, you cannot execute it, you cannot have documentation. By cannot execute it, I'm talking about biologists. I will talk a little bit more about that, because I'm working in academia, in a university environment. The thing that is the last thing that a biologist or something that is not computer savvy person expects when you are asking something from it is a source code. It doesn't know what to do. I mean, compilation is rocket science for some people, and that's not bad. So then you might find some documentation. The problem is you cannot execute it. You cannot find the source code. You have a nice documentation. Okay, now you might say, yeah, but okay, you have all these nice things. You have MATLAB, R, Octave, SPSS, SciPy. You can execute the source documentation, etc. But since this is 2012, I feel that there are some things that are missing. I'm talking about the web environment and run execution, open source, integrate other tools, edit a method instantaneously, and then being able to share it. Examples, unit tests, deploy in the cloud. I mean, how often do they get new releases and things like that? And I have the impression that if we apply the wiki paradigm in all these issues, then we can kind of resolve. We can kind of bring something new. So the rest of the talk is like how the wiki paradigm, the wiki thing, can help you write Python methods and have them, and all of them having all these nice advantages. So this is how Pypedia looks like. So the thing is that it has a text box, a text area. You can write your Python code. You can press run button and having run. Its method, its class here is an article in this Pypedia. So for example, the Pascal triangle and Hanau towers here are articles in this wiki. So how this works, just a bit of manual things. Let's say that you have this very complicated function, and the only thing that you have to do is sign up Pypedia as we do in Wikipedia. It's a classical media wiki environment. You create the article, save the article as it is unchanged, and this is how the article looks like. This is without posting any code. So it contains documentation, the codes, there's some unit tests, development code, the permission, who is allowed to edit it. So it's like a regular method, like you find in a blog, for example. The difference is that you can run the code here from this website, from this page. So let's see how this works. Here, this is the code. You can edit it. Maybe I can move your mic. Yeah, I can move. So you can edit it. You can write down your Python code, and then that's all that you need in order to create an online script. Press the execute button, and then you have the output and the return value. So what it did, it created an Ajax call, it sent it to a Google application environment, and then it fetched the result. Another thing we can do is that now this method we edited, if I can find it, yeah. We edited it and we added some parameters. And then I can edit the parameter section, and this is an incomprehensible text. So this might be a little bit better. So ignore about all these things is automatically generated. This is an XML description of the arguments. I know that this is kind of experimental and not that much expressive, but yeah, this is how it is right now. I'm very open into making this more expensive. So this is the name of the argument, the type, if it's a string or it's something that it's a Python expression that can be evaluated. This is the default value, and this is the label that appears in the side. So if you press save, then the parameter section, it's a normal HTML form. Someone can fill in values over there, and then press execute on browser, and then you get the results. Again, another thing is that, okay, cool, but I want to import this function in my local computer. So there is a Pypedia Python library. It's a zip. And you can do these things. Import Pypedia. From Pypedia, import foo user John Doe. So this is the name of the article that I created before. So when you are typing this, the code of this article is downloaded in your namespace, and you can call it normally. So this is a dynamic way of loading code. Each time it downloads the most current version of the article. And of course, foo user John Doe can create either can have either a function or a class. Yeah, there are some other things from this library. You can create a method. So if you write pypedia.add your favorite method, your favorite function, then it creates an article. You can edit it online, and then you can push the results in a JIT-like fashion. But yeah, another thing, as I said before, is that you can execute this on the front page. It has like a terminal kind of appearance. So, if you create another article that calls your previous article, you don't have to import anything. This is why I wanted to have a Wikipedia kind of way. So, you know that in Wikipedia, the articles you can very dynamically link to other articles very easily. So I thought that maybe don't use imports. As soon as you write something like that and you want to run it, then you can understand that this is, you can parse this text and understand that this is a function call, and then import this article and have it ready. So again, if you just save the previews and you run, then this function calls the function foo user, John Doe, and it runs it. And of course, the same behavior exists for classes. Now, what's the rationality behind all this? You have to, if you are working in an IT environment where there are the people that they are the Python guys, the programming guys, and then there are the mortal people. You know, the people that you are working for, actually. So I'm talking about all the people that you are trying to help, and they are asking for scripts. Please, can you give me a script that it does this work and things like that? And you will realize that as soon as you write a script and you hand it over to this person, then it will take some time in order to understand the rationality behind the computer logic, the inner logic, the documentation, where it runs, some constraints regarding the resources and things like that. With this environment, what I'm trying to do is you don't have to receive an email that has an attachment of a Python script. Because from receiving the email to being able to do your job, it's a very big distance. What these people are able for is they are very good at running web services like an HTML page, filling up the fields, the combo boxes, the text areas, pressing a button and having there. So either you are making the parameters like this, and there is also a download code button where you can download a file which has the same name as the article, and then the only thing that you have to write is Python GUI user John Doe .py. But the rationality is to make it as more simple as possible for people that compiling, running, and editing text code is the worst thing that you can put them to do. Yeah, it also supports unit tests. So in the documentation page, in the page of the article, there is the code, there is the parameters, and there also is the unit test. So, you all know what unit tests are. After you make, if you write a unit test, after you make any edit, then it tries to evaluate these unit tests. So if, for example, this just checks if this method returns 42, as it was the previous code. So if you edit the function that show that it will not return 42, you receive an error message, and then it goes back to the previous edit. This is still under development, and I know that it has, Python has some nice features regarding unit tests, and the work of importing this in the docstring. You know that you can put unit text in the docstring. So one future thing is to include this on the docstring and make it more Pythonic. So you can guarantee a certain behavior of your methods as you can with the unit tests. And again, why? So I posted Pypedia like 3 months ago in Reddit, and someone said, okay, I skimmed through the website and the presentation and I couldn't find an answer to my question, so I'm posting it here. Why? Why? So this is why. Because I'm an IT guy in a pilot department, and you can't imagine what I've seen. So what I'm talking about, people, this is serious, no, it's not for... Imagine that there are people that are PhD students, they are very smart, they are very intelligent, and they have 1.5 gigabyte of text file with human sequences of the human DNA. And then we need to edit this file, and they try to open it with Microsoft Word. I've seen a student like this trying to sort an Excel file of 2,000 lines by copy-pasting the lines. Yeah, so you are over there and say, okay, I'm a Python guy, okay, I'm good at programming. How do you help these people? Giving them a Python script is just not enough. They will not be able, they will misuse it somehow. Um, so, since we are in Italy, I decided to put some Latin on the top. Auditur, audiatur et altera pars. It means something like you have to listen the other side as well. So there was a nice paper that was published, how not to be a bioinformatician. Instead of bioinformatician, you can put there any programmer that works in a scientific environment, maybe. And I like this paper because it has very few things that you should, it was a working paper. So what not to do? And what people that they are working in the scientific environments do. Stay low level at every level, which means that there isn't any abstraction, there isn't any higher classes. Everything is working in a very minimum programming way, usually close to the system level. You can very easily be open source without being open. By uploading your code, it's a very nice way of not being open. What do I mean is that you're missing of documentation, or you're missing of direction about compiling, installing, configuring. You're missing unit tests. So, especially in the scientific environment, we've seen that happening. Some people make tools that make no sense to scientists. Many people do not understand that science is a very special environment. They have some specific needs, they have specific mindset. The problems that they are dealing, they are very special. So as with all the applications, you have to be very intuitive in order to provide a really nice environment. Do not ever share your results and do not reuse. Yeah, do not do that. Another important thing, never maintain your database and web services. It's very nice. Just go, I don't know how many of you know PubMed, for example. It's a service that has medical publication about medical, or you can go to Oxford Bioinformatics, it's another journal, or BMC, and look for publications that were 1 year ago. All of them, they're about nice web services, websites, databases, integrating, and all of these things. None of this works. Why none of this works? Because all of these databases and services, they got a funding, and they put there some graduate student, maybe a PhD student. So this PhD student finished. Now he's in another country. The funding finished. The computers now they're moved to another room, and it's what I'm saying that these services rot. It's like the fruits that you leave there. The more you leave them, these services, the more they stink. Really. So, yeah, maintainability is not working in the science right now. And another thing is be unreachable and isolated. For some weird reasons, scientists are sometimes very difficult to contact with. And, the higher rank, the more difficult to locate. And so this is, I want to express what my feeling is after like 10 years in academia, what I have experienced from software development there. It's that the people that they are developing the software, they are not professionals. At least they have like a course in programming maybe, or they might finish a bachelor and this is their first assignment. And the thing that they have to do is very, very difficult. So, for example, by informatics, we are talking about petabytes of data. We are talking about alignment, about sequencing algorithms that they are very demanding, very difficult. And even if you have the source code to configure and having meaningful results, it's very, very difficult. So, because of the special professional nature of the academic environment, we have seen that the developers over there do not apply professional software development methods in this data. So, for example, it's very rare to find unit tests in this software. So, enough about preaching about all this thing. Okay, I feel much better now that I said that. Yeah. So, yeah, this is what I said. The freshman meme. You cannot write bad code, but challenge accepted. It's very, you can see that very often. So with Pypedia, what I want to do is that whenever someone has a Python script, just upload it over there. And as in Wikipedia, it has an evolutionary process where articles tend to get better by the time, because good edits stay, but edits don't stay. So the same thing want to happen with Pypedia. I want to have a nice, vivid community of scientists or math enthusiasts uploading their scripts there. I want the bad scripts to die. I want the good scripts to prosper. And I don't know how many of you know Sage, S-A-G-E. Oh, nice. So the Sage it's an amazing thing what they've done there. So they built a very nice Python environment. They integrated with SciPy and NumPy and Matplotlib, which these are scientific libraries for numerical, scientific, and plotting methods. They provided a very nice computational environment, and you can write your scripts there. You can create your own notebook, I think they call it. Yeah, the Sage notebook. And you can share the results. And this is amazing, so I think that you should try it. One problem that I've seen in Sage is that it has a custom computational environment. I can download locally Sage, but the thing is that it's very difficult to share my methods in my local configuration to other people. So what I thought is that don't create a computational environment like Sage and then hand it over to people. Let the people or the administrators create a nice computational environment, and then each user will decide which environment we'll use. For example, in bioinformatics where I work, we use a lot of BioPython, SciPy, NumPy, and there is some other Python environments for sequencing. So what would be nice is if I was able to make and configure this environment, maybe in Amazon Cloud, then for each user can create in his personal page, in Wikipedia, in MediaWiki you have a personal page, so you can create an SSH section, and you can put there your favorite execution environment. So, for example, this one is in Amazon, the host username and the execution path. Now, this execution environment has your favorite Python libraries, Python environments, and you have configured it the way you like it. And yeah, there are some more about the documentation. So, whenever you log in, let's go back. So, whenever you log in Pypedia, these parameters are active. So, whenever you press the execute on remote, it's a very tiny button. You cannot see. Here there is execute on remote computer. That was execute on browser that runs in Google Application Engine. This execute on remote computer. So whenever you press this button, all the code and your parameters they are sent to your favorite computer that you have already configured, and then it returns as an object. There can be any object, any HTML element, and you have it visualized. For example, here there is the fixed point. It's a function, and I configure an environment that had NumPy and Matplotlib. The Matplotlib returned an PNG image, and now I can visualize it. So Sage does more or less the same thing, but it has the same environment. And this is shareable, as any Wikipedia, as any MediaWiki article. Some other things that's over there. You can fork an article. So a criticism that I've been received about Pypedia, it's like it's not crowdsourced. Why? Because its method, maybe I think it's on my next, no. Its method, its section, for example, the coding section, the parameter section, the unit test section, the development section has permissions. So some people said, okay, what sort of crowdsource project is that if you need to have special permissions in order to edit each section? The problem is that this is about code. So, you know, you can vandalize the text, but if you vandalize the code, you can kill people. I mean, this kind of problem. So you cannot leave an environment that people can edit code just over there. So by default, the user who created the article, only he, she is allowed to edit. What you can do, of course, you can fork an article. So on the top of each page, there is a button, fork this article. It's created with your username, and you can do whatever you want with this. Yeah. Open science. Another nice visionary thing. So open science is about two things. The first thing is about whatever you're doing science, having them everything open. Your data, your results, your methods. Your textbook where you're writing your temporary notes, leaving over there open. I'm not dealing with this. The second thing about open science is that, I don't know how many of you in their master, maybe thesis, they tried to recreate a published paper, maybe in physics or in biology and things like that. So you can find a very nice description in the paper with all nice graphs and tables about the method, but no code. I want to say that this shouldn't be allowed at all. I mean, if you are publishing a method, at least put your source code there, because especially the more citation index, the more highly ranked a journal is, for example, Nature, the more difficult it is to find the code to actually validate these things. And I've seen students taking all their master course in order to validate a single paper and trying to recreate these results. It's very, as I said before, it's very easy to be open without being open. The fact that you describe your methods in a paper doesn't mean that it's reproducible. Okay. I blew some steam again. So Pypedia is an environment to deal with these things. It's like if you do your analysis with methods that are hosted in Pypedia, then it should be very easily generated by someone else. How this is done? So it has a very simple REST interface where you have before timestamp, you put a timestamp here and get code, and here you can actually write your Python code in the URL. And what it does, it takes recursively all the code that need to run in order to execute this Python statement that has been edited before the most recent date, that it's before this timestamp. So that means that if you're having your methods in Pypedia, you get the results, it's 2.4, you say, okay, this is good, I should share it with other people. You mark down the date that you had this one, you write this URL, and there is the Python command, the very last Python command that generated your results, and this will fetch all the code that is needed in order to create this result. So if other people edit this article, whatever happens to this, it's like permalink. So whatever happens to this code, this URL will always get the code that created this result. So what I would like to see is that for papers or for scientists that they are publishing some results, some tables, will be nice to have a nice link over there where just by clicking it, I could get the code, and by writing Python space my extraordinary results.py to be able to reproduce it. So this is a suggestion that we are trying to use Pypedia in order to fulfill this open science vision. So how this works? This is a curl command You can actually use wget for this. So you URL encode your timestamp. This is the date, the most recent date before the time that you had the last edit. This is your code that generates your amazing results. You can actually place this code over here. And then you have to use the pypedia.com/index.php. And your output will be in code.py. So this is the code that generates the pairwise linkage disequilibrium, whatever that is. And the researcher that wants to recreate just has to type python code.py and hopefully will get the results. The same results that was used initially. Another nice thing is HTML injection is not only allowed but encouraged. So what the Google application engine returns can be anything, can be any HTML element, and this will be embedded in the result section of the algorithm of the article. For example, over here there is a canvas. There is a method that returns a canvas object, a canvas element, and some JavaScript that generates this nice face. They told me that we have internet here. Where is my yeah. Since I have 12 minutes, I will go a little bit back. Sorry for confusing you. Sorry. So for Learn on Python, you can do things like this. Here, I hope this works. Run. Yep, hello. But more interesting is that what if you do this? Then you get a nice error. But you'll actually get the name. Is it visible? No. You actually get the name of the file that generates the code. So you can do a little hack here. Why not? And read this file. Print open this nice file dot read run, and there you have the code that this site uses. So here, go and copy, and you have a nice Python sandbox. But that wasn't what I want to show you. That was the draw user face. So you can execute this on browser, and if you wait some time, this generates a canvas object with this nice face. A nice example is that what I'm calling the meta web server is like, so a friend of mine sent me this. Don't read it. It's not for presentation. This nice HTML page that he submitted it in gist. And he told me, look what I've created. What will be nice is to try to test it to see how it looks like. So in order to run this, you need to set up a web server in order to publish it. But what you can do is go to Pypedia and say, run the code that reads this file, as it's a simple URL lib command, and print it. And if you can do this is the command. I don't know if it's visible. So it says pypedia.com, run code, import URL lib, print, URL open, and opens this GitHub commands, and then gets a file, and then it prints it. So if you run this, and you get to see what this thing is doing. It's very nice. Circles. Okay, I'm stopping this service. So by switching back here, so what I want to say is that if your scientific method doesn't have to return a text, can create an image, I don't know, an MP3, a JavaScript, a canvas, anything, then will be printed on there. So especially in science, it will be nice because things that we get from this method is not always text. Actually, most of the times it's not text. So, who can edit my article? As I said before, it's you and only you and the admins can edit any part of the article. And there is a permission section on the bottom where you can write comma separated the usernames of the people that you want your article, that you want to edit your article. There are some special words: signed if you want only signing users to edit, or all if you want anyone to edit it. So I think it would be nice to put this signed values in order to get more of the crowdsource value. All the content is under a simplified BSD license, and the articles are divided in two categories. So it's the one that has this maybe ugly user and your username, user John Doe, and the other that don't have it. So this is because what we want is to create a very nice environment where people can submit their articles, can submit their methods, their functions. They can submit multiple versions of their functions, so everyone can has his own foo. But at the same time, it would be nice to have an environment, at least like all the numerical computational environments, for example, like MATLAB or R, has a collection of methods that are well documented, tested, tried, they are secure, etc. So what's happening that we are picking the methods that they are very qualitative, that they are very Pythonic from the user namespace, and we copy them to the main space. So many people might have the foo user John Doe, foo user someone else, but there might be one foo that it's more qualitative and it will be in the validated namespace. Methods that are in the validated namespace cannot load methods that are in the user namespace, although methods in the user namespace can call methods that are in the validated namespace. And of course, only admins can edit the main namespace. Since this is a wiki, what of course it's very important to do is attract communities. So I think the most important thing of this environment in order to flourish is to please come, edit, try, test it, condemn it, please contribute somehow, because otherwise any wiki will be dead. So a wiki in order to survive needs people. So far we have like some 50 users that they are editing articles. What we would like is to be more active and to be more alive. There are two planned presentations in the future. The one is in Los Angeles by Informatics Open Source Conference, and the other is another nice conference in the EuroPython. It's happening in Brussels this August. And yep, that's all. Contact. The source code is in GPL, but the content is in BSD format. Maybe this might change. There are Google Groups, Twitters. The whole project is hosted in GitHub. Please take a look and check it. And by saying that, I would like to thank the organizers for giving the opportunity for a young project like this, and of course you for listening. Thank you.
So we're a bit ahead of time, so we have plenty of time for questions. First, second, and third.
This is very similar to the process I went through in making ScraperWiki, which you must have seen as well.
Sure, yeah.
I also wanted to do it on MediaWiki, but the PHP-ness of MediaWiki drove me away.
Yes.
And we've implemented our own thing, but we should talk because much of the infrastructure is much common and we could probably share.
Yeah. I agree. So yes.
What do you think of the decision? What do you think of the decision to base it on MediaWiki?
This is embarrassing because Pypedia is written in PHP. I was expecting something like.
No.
Okay, so a big part of Pypedia is an extension of the media wiki in order to do all the checks and the edits and etc. And there is on the Python library. Of course, it's written on Python. Why I took this decision is because media wiki for two reasons. First of all, it was because media wiki has been around a very long time. And it has a very nice extendable architecture. And the second thing is that, as I said before, I'm targeting to biologists and to some people that editing, they do like editing familiar environments. And for these people, MediaWiki is a very familiar environment. They don't have any problem. I'm amazed how, if you change a very minor detail to these people, although they are brilliant, they get very easily confused and distracted. So in my effort to make a big community, I choose to do a MediaWiki. But it's, I think, as a future, and since right now there are very nice machines, wiki engines in Python, I can migrate to a Python engine.
You kept mentioning that the code could be a class or a function. My question is, could you define a number of functions and then have like a bit of code at the bottom which ties them together? For example, if I wanted to put up there a mathematical equation to test if a number is prime, there are three ways of doing that. So I could have three functions, one for each method, and then a bit of code which runs all three.
Yes.
So would that be possible?
Yes. So what you can do, it doesn't have any point to change. So what you can do is you can put as many functions as you want in an article, but there should be one function that will have the same name as the article, and that this function will load all the other. Yeah. So otherwise you will have to make a separate articles. But you can have as many functions and classes and everything in a single article. But there has to be one that is kind of the main.
Like the main function in C++, for example, that just ties everything together?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a way to run in the browser earlier versions of the code, or do I have to download it with the method you showed us and
yeah. So okay. Yeah, so this is the get code that gets the code. If you write run code, you get the results of the code. And is this a question?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, there is a more extensive REST interface, has more commands. But the most basic is this: the get code and run code. But the problem is that I wouldn't recommend, of course, to run your code in Google Application Engine. It has many limitations regarding, of course, scientific. But for testing, it's very useful. Mm-hmm. And I'm amazed the work that they've done over there, and they have allowed, like the majority of the Python libraries. For example, I wouldn't expect to have URL lib in Google Application Engine, yet it exists.
Yeah. Do I turn it on? Hello?
Yeah.
The size of data and the kinds of data that scientists use varies quite a lot, and the languages that they use. Kind of what reception have you had so far? Like, which kinds of scientists like the product most? And how do you think that will work as you try and get more use across different science disciplines?
So what I'm thinking of is that in environments like this, Pypedia will post scripts that they use SciPy. So I'm not expecting to have very large, very complicated scripts. But I would expect to let the heavy job done by NumPy or SciPy, and then having these environments in order, to load, to invoke, and to do things like this. I'm not sure if I answered your question.
So if they've got like a gigabyte data set external by
all right. Yeah. Okay. You're saying regarding the data sets that this reports. Yes. Yes. Okay, so the way it works right now is if you're using the web interface, it's a limitation of the Ajax calls. So it depends on how big data can an Ajax call transfer to Google Application Engine. But as I said before, I wouldn't recommend people to use it that way. the most nice thing to do is to either use the local library, so you can see from import Pypedia from Pypedia, import this very complicated function that uses gigabytes of data. And then use the code in your local computer or your local cluster, your local thing. Or use the execute on remote computer. So this is not, then it's not limited by any web technology. So this is limited by what Python can handle.
Actually, yeah, that was my question. So.
Any more question? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'd like to start by saying that I think this is really brilliant.
Thank you.
And my question is, when it comes to reusing code within Pypedia, do you have this same versioning that you have in the REST interface? Because if somebody goes and changes the code that I'm relying on, there is of course a risk that it no longer works.
Yeah.
And do you have any thoughts about some sort of automatic updating so that if there is a new version, you can have the unit tests automatically running?
So in order to make any new versions, of course they have to satisfy the unit tests, if they are, otherwise it will not be accepted. If you are depending on some function, then I will recommend to always use the bit timestamp. If you are dependent, not recommend, if you are dependent on a certain function. Otherwise, you will always get the most recent version. But each method has it belongs to you. So if you are dependent on your method, then the best thing I would say, the even better thing to do, is fork this article. So you have, I don't know, the article foo, fork this article, then it will be foo user, my username, and then you can do whatever you do with this. No, it's only you that have access to this. But I wouldn't recommend, of course, depending to a version that has been edited by more people, except if you're using this before timestamp thing. Did I answer? I'm not sure.
Okay, one question here.
If you fork an article and make changes to it, can you make something like a pull request for the owner of the original article to integrate your changes?
That's a great idea. No. So what you can do, yes, you can, the pull request, which is the import, yes, the import function. Will have, if you have made some edits locally, of course they will conflict, and the pool will crash. So what would be nice is if it was a nice merging mechanism, which I haven't done it there, although it would be a good idea. So because I want to take paradigms and ideas from the GitHub way of development of versioning. It's like if someone has a different version, you can of course fork, but most important from the fork is the merge. So this is the way to advance. I'm feeling that I didn't reply correctly.
It's okay. So it's not implemented.
No, okay. The merging, no.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. I've got two questions. The first question is about under which license is it running?
The license?
Yeah.
Is the BSD. So all your code is BSD license.
Ah, yeah, all right. And have you thought about the namespace? How do you actually manage this? Because I can imagine if there are hundreds, thousands, or hundreds of thousands of articles and code samples are uploaded.
Yes.
Is there any estimation kind of, or yeah, what are your thoughts about the namespace management? So
it's nice in a computational environment. For example, in MATLAB in R, and especially when you are addressed to biologists or scientific people, it's nice to have a big namespace. In order to have, they feel that they have a big variety of methods to choose. It's not like Python where the limited and the very tiny namespace is what makes it it's better. Because, for example, if you ever run MATLAB without importing anything, you already have over there an environment that has, I don't know, thousands of methods. Right now there are two namespaces, the user namespace and the main namespace. So if your method ends with user something, then okay, I would say do not trust it because it's something a user has done. And but if it doesn't contain the user part, then you should trust it. Now, I'm not feeling that this might be a problem maybe in the future where we will have, I don't know, thousands of or more of methods in the same way that as in Wikipedia you have, I think, like 4 million articles that vertically they belong to the same namespace. And it doesn't seem to have to create that much of a problem. Of course, this is an assumption to know how this will work in the future. But what would be nice is to have portals. Maybe mathematics portal, biology portal, and things like that. Again, like Wikipedia.
Are you doing full text indexing of the articles?
Yeah, this is taken care of by the Media Wiki. So yeah, you can search, you can do all the things you can do with Media Wiki, you can search. So everything that it's more than 3 letters gets indexed. There is a parameter you can change that, but I've left it unchanged. You can have categories, templates, all these things in the Media Wiki.
Other questions? We still have 2 minutes available. No one? 1, 2? No? Okay. So,
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I promised you to send some